Guys, so I realise this is not my normal setup and how I normally do a video, but I kind of feel like I just wanted to grab my phone and kind of explain to you really like where I've been, why I haven't been posting as much as I did last year when I was sort of posting 2 videos a week. And oh, by the way as well, I've kind of got this like cough, which every time you say cough you want to cough, that I can't seem to get rid of. So if I sound a little bit croaky, that's why. And also that I will keep coughing. And I kind of just wanted to grab my phone and just really just talk to you and tell you like where I've been, why I haven't been posting so regularly. I would say maybe for the past like 6 months or so, I've been a bit rubbish on my channel, and I've kept trying to get back to it, and I keep saying to you guys I am going to come back, and I am, and I really am, so I do want you to believe that. But I think it's time for me really to kind of just tell you what has been going on and why I haven't been posting, and just, yes, so like where I've been. So I'm going to say it first, and then I will just kind of go into explaining like maybe why, but also I just really don't want anyone to be kind of horrible about this. Also, my rear eye is like super red. It's gone all bloodshot. I don't want anyone really to be horrible about any of this, so because it's been quite an emotional time. So if you do feel like you might end up saying something you don't like, then I'd rather you just kind of clicked off and didn't say anything about this situation or about me or about him or anything like this. So basically Dan and I have split up. So many of you who have either followed my channel for quite a long time will have already seen Dan in some of my videos. And for those of you who might have joined a bit later, you might not have known that I was in a relationship, or that I was actually engaged to somebody called Dan. And you might not have seen him in some videos, but he was in quite a recent one when we went to New York. I say a recent one, we're in May, this was back in January, and actually we got engaged. So this is kind of, my video is going to be about the fact that we've split up and kind of why I haven't been doing videos and kind of my plans of what I want to do moving forward. So basically Dan and I were together for 8 years, and not too long ago I decided that it wasn't really right anymore. Not for any really particular reason, not that he did anything wrong or not that I did anything wrong. It was just a feeling that I had. It was just not working anymore. The relationship just kind of naturally broke down, and we kind of just grew apart. And I just think we just weren't actually meant to be together for the rest of our lives. Now, whether he would agree with that or not, or whether his friends agree with that or not as well, or even some of mine, they might even think, well, actually, I thought you and Dan were meant to be together, but I just didn't feel it in my heart anymore. And it's been like got to be probably one of, if not the hardest decision I've ever had to make, to end 8 years with somebody. But also we were engaged, and obviously we lived together, and we were looking to buy a house. We hadn't got that far yet, but we were in the process of like saving for it. So it's a really difficult decision to make. It's not something that you kind of just decide overnight. It's something that kind of just builds, and I think once you've been in a relationship that long, you start questioning certain things. And I would question, like, should I feel this way, or should I be questioning this part of our relationship? Which I won't go into too much detail, because certain things are, this is obviously very personal. And then people would sort of talk to me about stuff and just say, no, you shouldn't really question that, and you should just know. And I think the more and more times I heard certain things, I was like, maybe it isn't quite right. And I started to find that I wasn't very happy, and I didn't know what it was in particular. I was thinking, is it because is it because our flat is too small, and it was constantly like getting untidy, so I was getting frustrated all the time. So I was thinking, was it that? Is it the fact that we hadn't got engaged, and I was thinking we weren't moving fast enough, and that we weren't really moving our relationship forward? So I was kind of thinking all these different things, and I was maybe not even realising it, but coming up with excuses for the main reason that I was unhappy. And I just couldn't pinpoint it, and I just thought, surely it can't be me and Dan, because once you kind of get to 3 years, 4 years, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, you start to think you're going to be together forever, and that is truly what I thought was going to happen. But obviously it just hasn't worked out that way. And I think I'd had some conversations with him and said that I wasn't very happy, and I won't go into the full conversation. So I had expressed how I was feeling for quite a while, and nothing massively changed in our relationship. So I think the biggest thing that did change, obviously, was that we got engaged in January, and that was kind of like a moment, I think, where either a lot of people are like absolutely like elated and they're so happy, and they just think this is the best feeling in the world. I'm going to spend the rest of my life with the person that I love, and we're going to have babies, and we're going to do amazing things, and you're kind of set up for life. And I think that's how some people feel. And then some people think, oh my god, is this the right thing? Can we do this for the rest of our lives? Is everything right? And I had more of those moments, and more moments of thinking, is this right? Or I just, after being engaged for 3 months or so, I hadn't planned anything, and some other people that I know got engaged at a similar time as me and had already planned loads of stuff. And I'd always said, as soon as I got engaged, I was someone who didn't really want a long engagement, and that I'd get engaged and I would plan my wedding, and I'd want it done in about a year's time. And it's all good to say that in hindsight what you would do, but sometimes situations are different. But I didn't do that, and I found myself hesitant to do it, and I couldn't figure out what it was. I was just thinking, am I just feeling a bit stressed about things? Is it nothing to do with our relationship, or is it to do with just anything? I couldn't pinpoint what it was, and I thought, but surely it can't be us. But I soon came to realise that actually it was me and Dan, and that I wasn't entirely happy, and had told him that I wasn't totally happy. And I think after a while, I just kind of knew that we needed to end it. And it's just really, really difficult. I don't know, like, people might not understand this, but how hard it is and how difficult it is to actually get the courage to say to someone that you're not making me happy, even by them not really doing anything. They're just, because they're not doing anything wrong, but they're just not the fit for you anymore, is so hard. And to end 8 years, and 8 years is a long time, but it's also not a long time in the scheme of the rest of your life. And I think for the feelings that I was having, I shouldn't have that after 8 years. So we had a couple of really difficult conversations, and the last one was unbelievably difficult, and I was so upset, and he was really upset. And but I knew that we had to do this. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is kind of like, well, where have I been, is because I was sort of losing myself for a really long time. I would say it might have been like 6, 7 months, something like that, maybe even longer. And I started to lose myself, so I wasn't motivated for things. And I had a really exciting project that I was doing, which I think I tweeted about ages ago, maybe at the beginning of summer. And that project I will pick up, but I stopped doing that. I stopped my YouTube. I started to not really care about certain things, and that's not really me. And I think when you realise that you're a bit unhappy, actually you kind of break down in lots of different things, even down to like my subscription to the Ideal Home magazine and Natural Health are like two of my favourite things. Is like when they would come in, I'd be so excited, and I'd sit there and I would just get really comfortable on the sofa, and I'd read my magazine, I'd get myself a nice drink, maybe something to eat. I'd sit there for the next hour and a half and just read through it. I just had them piling up and I wouldn't read them, and I was starting to like let things go in the house. Like I wouldn't really care about looking after certain things or cooking proper dinners, and I just lost myself and sort of my motivation for things. And that's then when I lost my interest in YouTube. I haven't watched other people's YouTube videos. I keep having these little moments where I kept forcing myself and trying, and I just couldn't really do it. And it was like worrying me, because I love all of you, and I love the fact that you've messaged me and you've said like, where are you? Are you gonna do videos again? I'm like, I absolutely am gonna do videos again, because I love YouTube and I love you guys and I really enjoy it, but I just have felt kind of like exhausted and drained through the whole process of this. Now we had a really amicable breakup, but some things have got a little bit nastier now, which is a real shame, because I have an immense amount of respect for him and our relationship, and I feel really deeply saddened by how some of the stuff's come out, and it's got a little bit bitter about things. I will forever regret the fact that it kind of turned that way, but I'm hoping that as time goes on things will get a bit easier. But what I just wanted to tell you was basically everything I've just said, and I've had loads and loads of tears, but I'm not crying anymore, although even though he pops into my head like every day, because we've had to break down the flat and we've had to sort things out, so he pops into my head quite a lot, and little reminders every now and then. But I think that's quite a normal thing to happen, because even though when you realise it's the right thing to do, you're kind of grieving that relationship, as much as, you know, you might not want to be with that person, you kind of still miss certain things about them and the relationship, because I just spent 8 years with that person and suddenly they're not there every day and I'm not talking to them every day, and it's different. But I am happy. I'm happy with my decision, and he will be happy with it, and I think he will, if he hasn't already, realise that things weren't right and we had drifted apart and maybe we weren't the best fit for each other anymore. But that is kind of why I have been really quiet on YouTube, and even on my social media, my Instagram, I'm not posting as much as I used to, and I haven't had as much interest in certain things. I have been spending so much money because I think I've been comfort spending, so I have been buying quite a lot of things, but that is kind of like where I'm at with all of that. Now I'm moved out of the flat, and so is he. I'm back at my parents', which is not ideal at all, and it's really difficult to adjust going back, but they have been amazing. My friends have been amazing. But yes, so my plan is to get back into YouTube again. I've come up with some ideas of what videos I'd like to do. I'd love it if you could leave some comments down below, just mentioning maybe what some videos you'd like to see me do, either some videos again that were quite like regulars on my channel or something new, and see if you can if I can get re-inspired again. So if you want me to do any particular videos, then I'd love it if you could just let me know. And just bear with me, I'm still unpacking everything at my parents', because I never lived in this house and they're in a completely different area, so I'm having to readjust everything. So my camera and everything's not set up, I don't have a location of how I want to film or anything, so that's quite difficult. But if you can just let me know what you'd like me to do, then that'd be really helpful. But there's been some really positive changes in my life, and I don't want this to sound like it's been too soon or anything, but I'm already sort of seeing somebody else. I say sort of, I am seeing somebody else, and I'm super happy at the moment, and he just makes me feel like the most important person in the world. And you know, Dan will find somebody who does the same, if he hasn't started to meet somebody already, I don't know. But I just kind of wanted to let you guys, I just wanted to add that last bit in, because you might start seeing somebody different in some of my photos on like my Instagram, or if I'm tweeting something. I don't want you to be like, who is this guy that suddenly popped on like Steph's social media. I just wanted to let you know that I am seeing somebody else, but I am really happy. But I've had some extremely tough times, and it is a really difficult process to go through, and I don't want anybody to say anything bad about Dan, because there's nothing bad to say about him. I don't want anyone to like diss our relationship or kind of sour it any more than it has, in a way, with what some people have already said, because it's actually nobody's business. And it's actually just about me and him, and the love that we had for each other, and what happened in our relationship just naturally broke down. But I feel like I'm always really honest with you guys, and just kind of wanted to give you that respect and tell you where I've been. But I won't ramble on any longer, but I am going to be back to YouTube. I love you guys. I hope you're having a really good day, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye guys.